Well, good afternoon, brothers and sisters. It is a pleasure to stand here. I think this sounds like a fun place to go to church. It's a little bit of a hike for Sheila and me, but I think we might have to come back and check this out. I just want to take a couple of minutes and welcome you. You know, this is one of the most exciting things that happens in a year's time, when we come together and share some of the great things that are going on, get some inspiration, get some new ideas, and learn from one another. I often talk about the Fuller Center being a horizontal organization. We're one that is made up of many partners, and Americus is one of the partners in that group. We're not a hierarchical organization, because we know that what happens where you are. You're the ones that make it work. You're the ones that dig the dirt and pound the nails and meet the families and raise the funds. And so I want to commend you, and I want to commend you for taking a few hours out of your day, out of your weekend, to come and be with us and share. We ordered the weather especially for our northern friends. We wanted them to feel as comfortable here as possible, and it did get rid of the gnats. We've got some great stuff happening, and I'm not going to take a lot of time because we got so much in the afternoon. We're already running a little afoul of the timeline, but it was worth every minute of it. I do want to ask you, when you take your breaks, to be punctual, prompt, and come back as quickly as possible. At today's meetings, except for the Global Builders Conference, will be held right in this room, correct? Unfortunately, the coffee and tea, which is from Sri Lanka, incidentally, is downstairs. And you can't bring the coffee back upstairs. So go down, drink fast, and come back up. I want to tell you, this has been a great year, this last year, for the Fuller Center for Housing. We had our second international build. The first was in El Salvador in 2008, but this one was in Peru. And we had a wonderful time, got 10 houses built down there. The work in Haiti, just so you know, continues. And interestingly, the Fuller Center is one of the largest home builders in Haiti. There's $1 billion spent in Haiti, and very few permanent structures have come out of it. $1 billion was spent on tents and on temporary things, the things that were necessary. We figured the other day there's 200,000 houses needed there, and Ryan calculated that if they just gave us the $1.2 billion, we could have done the whole thing and had everybody in a decent house instead of a tent. But the work continues there, and we're grateful for our partners down there. We have, I don't think Gohar's here yet, is she? Okay, the folks from Colorado came in. We've got folks from as far away as Colorado, and Sheila and I are delighted because we speak the same language. They are almost the furthest away. But Gohar Palyan is here from Armenia, or will be, and so enjoy your title while you have it. But tomorrow she'll be here with us as well, representing Armenia. And I want to tell you, just so you know, Armenia is the top producing covenant partner in the world. They have built over 200 houses since they joined the Fuller Center for Housing. I think that's worth a clap. Kirk mentioned that we've got a Global Builders Conference going on as well, and actually we're thinking we're going to change the name of this event and just start calling it the Fuller Center Conference and see how many different aspects of the organization we can bring together at one time. But we're delighted to have you folks here. I'm going to get to spend a few minutes with you here in a minute, and but get to know one another. These folks lead teams to sites around the world, and they know what they're doing, and we're going to learn from them. I did want to mention a couple of outstanding developments that you're going to find beneficial over the course of the year. We are in the process of a search for a Chief Development Officer, which is the fancy name. We don't pay a lot in our organization, so we try to find the fanciest titles that we can. And so we're looking for a Chief Development Officer. This is a fundraiser. We're looking for somebody to help us raise money. And what's interesting for you is in the job description is a very clear requirement that they be in a position to assist our covenant partners across the country in their fundraising efforts. So pray for us on this. We were talking to somebody the other day who said this is the hardest thing you'll do all year because these folks are hard to come by. We're going to find one, and so pray that that happens soon so that they can help you. Now, this weekend, we are announcing a big deal. And you're the first ones that we're announcing it to. We are starting a major fundraising effort, a capital campaign. In this first year of the campaign, we're going to raise $1 million, and our ultimate goal is $7 million to go towards the work of the Fuller Center in the United States and around the world. To get it started, we have they tell us, you know, there's a whole science to this, and the first thing we had to do was collect our lead gifts, so that when we went out and announced this, we could say, this is what we've already got. Well, this is what we already got. For this first year, we got $400,000 ready to go, and I've been told that the other 100 is there, which takes us to $500,000, which means half of our goal is met. Over the course of the next 12 months, we're going to be raising that other half. Now, where, you ask, will this money be going? Well, it's going to go to the work. And part of the money, a good part of the money, is going to go to support what we're calling the From Derelict to Decent Loan Fund. This is a fund that we've set up, and it will loan money to covenant partners to help get a house restored or rebuilt. Now, you know, at first we talked about a matching grant program, and one of our wise counselors says, you know, we don't give away houses. Why should we be giving away money? We should make it loans. So we did. It's a matching loan program, and the way it works is this. We will loan up to $10,000 as a match against money that you raise locally for the rehabilitation or restoration of a property. That money is then repaid over time on terms you can afford through the house payments that the family makes. Then that money is again recycled to build more houses, restore more houses. So it's the same thing we're doing, but we're going to have another source of income. You know, when we've talked about the Save a House, Make a Home program, which is still a very exciting notion and something we want to pursue, one of the concerns that Covenant Partners have had is, oh, we can get the house, then we don't have the money to fix it. Well, this is intended to help you get the money to fix it. So I can see us creating a very interesting future for ourselves by taking advantage of this great program. So this is the bulk of what's going on. It's great stuff. I think that we are facing an outstanding year. There's just a feeling that 2013 is going to be a very good year for the Fuller Center around the world. And we want to find ways that we can support the work. You know, really, I hate these things. People are so rude. I've seen people take these in restaurants. Hello. Hello. Yes. Yes. Oh, yes, sir. Yeah, I understand. Well, yes, thank you for calling. I'm sorry. Thank you. It's Malachi. He wanted to talk about tithing. He said he's been looking at the books, and not everybody is getting the blessing. Now, when you get home, I want you to turn to the last page of the Old Testament. And in that, you will find a tremendous promise. Malachi says, take your tithes and offerings to the temple, and the Lord will open the windows of heaven and pour out his blessings upon you. That's the promise. Now, the principle of tithing is something that's very important in the Fuller Center for Housing. Because what we can do with tithing money is help folks who don't have the resources to do the things that we can do here. You know, despite all of the economic upheaval and the words of woe, we are the most blessed people on the planet. We have more than any other people on the planet. And places that we work, places like Bandaca, places like La Florida, places like Haiti, are places with very, very little. So the notion of tithing is that by your tithes and offerings, you can bless them. But here's the flip side, because Malachi made the promise on behalf of the good Lord. You pay your tithes and offerings, and the windows of heaven are opened unto you. There's a Habitat affiliate down in Florida that's been tremendously successful. And they were asked when they were having a dedication of like their 1,000th house or something, he said, what do you account your success to? They said, oh, it's simple, one word, Tithing. We've tithed from the beginning, and the Lord has blessed our work. So I encourage you, as we have this opportunity to all be together, and I won't pound this stone too often, but I do want to say, go home and talk about it. Pray about it with your board, and see if tithing isn't something that you think you should participate in. And we have listed a number of covenant partners. We did have a number of covenant partners tithing last year, but not enough, because we know that it's out there. You know, Millard used to say that we don't have to worry about raising money because the money's the Lord's. Unfortunately, it's stuck in too many pocketbooks. And our job is to extricate it from those pocketbooks. Well, we have the same situation at the international program. We need to help extricate funds. So I ask you to think about it. This is the 40th anniversary of the beginning of the international work of Millard and Linda's dream. 40 years ago, they went to Bandaka, and they started what has become the Habitat and the Fuller Center for Housing. And Linda, I'd like you to just come up and say a couple of words of greeting, if you would. And then when Linda's done, we'll break.
Thanks, David. It's great to see all of you here, and I always look forward to these times because, you know, to have so many friends and people that participate in the ministry together all in one roof. And I'm glad to see Thad Harris here from Americas. He's one of our most famous homeowners because, you know, Kirk and David and all of our staff have been using his story, a wonderful story, and pictures of Thad. You've probably seen them in some of our literature and on the website. We're glad you could be here, Thad, and all of you here. I'm really amazed to be in this facility. I was deprived when I was growing up, and by that I mean that I grew up Baptist, and I'd never heard of a congregational church until I met Millard Fuller. And one of the reasons was because I grew up in a university city, Tuscaloosa, and most of the congregational churches were in very, very small towns. As you know, Millard's from Lynette, and Kim, I thought, oh, there you are, from Lynette, where we have excellent work. But they were mostly in rural churches because, as the pastor was saying, groups came down from the north, missionaries, and they went into all these little places to help start educational programs and ministries in the areas, and this is an exception. There are very few very large congregational churches. Most of them are in the north. Another significant thing about this denomination, for those of you that know the story, when Millard and I had severe problems in our marriage in the mid-60s, I left Millard in Montgomery, Alabama, and went up to New York City to pastor with to counsel with the pastor at Broadway Congregational Church. A lot of them are called United Churches of Christ because about the time I met Millard, there were some mergers. I'm not going to get into too much detail, but I think this is very, very interesting history, and it ties in so many ways with the reason that Millard responded to God's calling because of his strong rearing in the church. So the evangelical church merged with the Reformed church. I'm sure Kirk knows all about this history. And then the evangelical and Reform merged with congregational. I think maybe there was some other churches that merged together too, but they all became the United Church of Christ. Millard was very instrumental in starting the youth fellowship. They call the Pilgrim Fellowship of the Congregational Church, and that wonderful story is found in the book Beyond the American Dream, which is the first excuse me, the first book Millard wrote, but the last published after his death. Another thing that I'm thinking of is that this is our 5th Covenant Partner gathering, and Millard only was able to attend the first one, but I'm glad that he was at the first one, which was held in Virginia. What? Suffolk, in Suffolk, Virginia. We no longer have a covenant partner there, do we? But he was so happy, and this was about 2 weeks before he passed away suddenly. He was so thrilled to see the Fuller Center blossoming, and people coming from across the country and around the world to continue the dream of partnership housing through the Fuller Center. Well, I'll be very happy to sign your paintbrush. There was a small paintbrush in my bag and a big paintbrush in Paul's bag, and I've already tried it out. I can hardly get my name on the small paintbrush, but even if I have to write real teeny, I'll be happy to sign your paintbrush, and I'm really looking forward to this time with you this weekend. God bless you.